Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 1218 Show. My name is Mike Wilson. I am your host, and we are back for another episode. Let's see, today is Oscar Day, and as you recall, last year's Oscars were quite eventful, and I was quite emotional about them. I vowed never to watch them again, but of course a year has passed, and I don't think I'm going to really tune in, but I certainly will be paying attention. Let's just hope nobody gets the shit knocked out of them this year. And hopefully everybody's on their best behavior, and hopefully there's some good jokes. That brings me to Chris Rock. His new special just came out. I thought it was lovely. He went after Will Smith, and Will Smith deserved every bit of it. And it was very funny. It was well crafted. It was a very, very good stand-up special. The beginning 15 minutes was brilliant. The Will Smith jokes are towards the end there in the last 10 or 12 minutes. Interesting, they in the live broadcast, he made a mistake in the last, basically the biggest joke. He said something, he said one of the titles of Will Smith's film he mentioned the wrong one. And he corrected it in the joke when it was live. But they did an edit to fix it for the recasts, for the restreams. Probably within 36 hours. I mean, it was for the next 12 or 15 hours. It's still the original, because I didn't get to watch it live. I was at work, so when I came home, I watched it and I saw it. And then I was showing Teresa the broadcast again, and they had already fixed it, and it was a seamless fix. I was really, really amazed at how it, like, you couldn't even find the edit. Like, it was very, very well done. But I guess, technology and these guys today can do pretty much anything. I just thought it was pretty fascinating, because I saw the original, and then I was like, oh, okay, here comes the mistake, and then it was like it wasn't there. And I think that was pretty much the only edit, or at least that I noticed. But I watched it twice. It was very good. Good for you, Chris Rock. I'm glad you came out and went after him a little bit. And I'm glad you took the time to do it. Put together your thoughts thoroughly. And excuse me. Anyway, I'm talking to Chris like he's sitting in my living room. So that's great. Cool. I want to. I also, one of the lines of this podcast we talk about is finance, and I'm not a CPA, or certainly not a registered trader or anything like that. But I think we all strive to have a little more money, or a lot more money, whatever camp you fall into. But people get bogged down and overspend too young in life, and spend their times, digging out of that hole. You create yourself a hole in your teens and 20s, and then spend 30s, 40s, and 50s digging out. And everyone's story is different, situation is different, everyone's education is different, and so my point is, wherever you are, I find a lot of finance people and interesting stories online and via social media, and I have a Twitter account. And on that Twitter account, I follow a lot of finance people, a lot of people that are just getting started, and a lot of people that have been doing it forever. There's coaches on there, there's finance professionals, there's CPAs, there's all kinds. So I kind of opened this one thread just specifically for the finance thing, and started doing some tweeting myself. And so, if you're interested in that, is my point. What I'm trying to get to, it's at Wilson Assets. That's the name of the Twitter feed that I've started. It's a couple weeks old now, so I'm trying to do at least one tweet a day. I know that sounds so silly or whatever, but you got to think of something kind of original to say, and or an interesting way of saying an idea that's not original. And I enjoy doing it, and of course it keeps you motivated to stay on the track to set yourself up, get yourself to where your time is all yours, and you spend it exactly where you want to spend it, which ultimately is my goal. And I think that would be a goal that I think a lot of people haven't even thought that was possible. I think a lot of people think that, well, I have to dedicate X amount of my life to, working or whatever, and then what's left over. But I don't believe that, and I don't believe in it. I think that you create the life you want to live, and if you want to have 100% control of your time, if you want to spend 2-3 hours a day in the gym and 2-3 hours a day on a hobby and 2-3 hours a day with your, or 6-7 hours a day with your family, and you want to travel and you want to do all those things are possible. There are people that live that life, and there's no magic solution to it. It's just about choices and discipline and visualizing it, seeing it, and going after it, and then aligning yourself with like-minded people to learn from them and to keep you motivated. So that's the purpose of my Twitter feed. So if you're interested, it's at wilsonassets.com, or no, .com, at wilsonassets on Twitter. You'll see the little profile pictures, me sitting on a mountain. So I got purple pants and a white sweatshirt on against the backdrop of a rock that I was sitting on in the Appalachian Mountains. So, and if you have a question about that, you can contact me, which brings me to my next thing about contacting me. I've been so busy. Everybody's busy, but I've just been working, to the bone. I'm trying to just trying to get more invested and just more. I mean, if I have an opportunity to make a few bucks, I'm doing it. It's just that simple. And then all of that money is just going in to where I can, try to make more money. Tired of being broke. Tired of it. So the podcasts have not been on schedule, as you probably know, and but one of the other reasons is that sometimes I'll find myself like, ooh, I've got a 2-hour block today. I need to get a podcast in, and then I sit there and reel about what I should do the podcast about, and then the time passes, and I'm like, shit, I couldn't think of nothing. I couldn't think of anything that I felt like would be interesting, I think everything is interesting, and I have an opinion and a perspective on pretty much everything, and I think most of us do. And I get in my own way, I know, because I think nobody wants to hear my thoughts on whatever. Let's pick a big topic like COVID, and so then it kind of holds me back, and that's a chicken shit move, and I know that. But I hate dividing people. I hate people being like, this guy's a moron, or I love this guy. Like, I'm not trying to create teams. I just like throwing out ideas and giving us topics of conversation, new ideas, things you hadn't thought of, things that I thought of that you didn't think of, or things, or different perspectives, or debunking stupid perspectives, which, again, nobody can say that everybody's perspective is their own, but I think that there are some pretty ridiculous things going on in the world right now, and I don't care what your perspective is. Sometimes some of you are just wrong. I live in facts, and that's just kind of my overall perspective. So, that being said, what I'd like to do, I want your input. I want, if there's a topic that you are interested in, and just to see where I'm at, or to see, or just something you'd like to hear somebody else talk about, or whatever, go on the YouTube channel and put it in the comments. Say, hey man, do a podcast about fill in the blank, or where you can tweet me at wilsonassets.com, or Wilson. I keep saying .com. I'm sorry, at wilsonassets, or you can. I use that one too. I have an old Grumpy Umpus one, but I never look at that one. There's a couple of different Twitter accounts that I have that I've just over the years that I never really built or used or anything. But the Wilson Assets one I'm going to kind of stay on top of. And I also have an email address that if you're not on YouTube or you don't want to post publicly and you want to send me a topic that you're interested in, first of all, if I know anything about it already, I'll put it in my perspective. If I don't, I'll read up on it a little bit. I'll do a little research and come up with an idea, and I'll play devil's advocate too. I like doing that. I like arguing both sides of any one point, just to see if I can myself come to a common ground or a conclusion. There's no topic that I'll speak passionately about that I haven't thought about the alternate side. I think it's silly when you see people up there rah about whatever you're talking about, and then you realize like they haven't even thought about this side of the coin. I'm not like that. That's why I don't argue with people too often. I've learned that later in life. When I was younger, I've gotten all kinds of stupid arguments, and oftentimes took a stupid point of view or a stupid position because I didn't know shit about it. So to stop doing that and look at a fool, I started not getting. If it was something I knew nothing about, I would just refrain from engaging. That being said, I don't care what you want to talk about. It can literally be anything, whatever you want to talk about. Post it on YouTube or send me an email. The email address that I will be checking is for the for this kind of stuff is info@the1218show.com. info@the1218show.com. So if you want to email me there, if you have, or if you want to just post it on the YouTube channel, let me know what you want to talk about, or what you want to hear my perspective on, or what you'd like me to do a little research on, just in case there's something like I'm interested in this. For instance, this week, the bank collapsed, the Silicon Valley Bank. And that's interesting to me. I read up on it. I think I pretty much understand it, and I think I can put it in layman's terms pretty well, because I had to kind of put it in layman's terms, because when you get to talking about all of the ins and outs of finance, it can get really, really detailed, and there starts to be definitions of words and all kinds of weird jargon, I guess would be the word, that if you're not in the industry, you wouldn't understand. And I think that a lot of people prefer for somebody to put it in layman's terms. Now, it's kind of easy to do that. You can, there's a lot of different avenues and channels for people to tune into and say, okay, what does this mean? And you can usually find a blog or a YouTube or a TikTok, for that matter, explaining what it is that happened. So, and after kind of reading and sifting through some of this stuff, I got a pretty good general idea of what happened and why it's happening. But so my point is, I don't care what the topic is. If I know nothing about it, I'll still address it on the podcast, and I'll say, hey, this is something I know nothing about. It's a new topic that somebody introduced to me. I read up a little bit on it. This is what I know so far. What are your thoughts? That kind of thing. Because I need some help from you, the listeners and the watchers. I just need. I'm not feeling unmotivated. I'm not feeling bummed out by any means. I'm trying to find a direction to go in here, and I think that the feedback would be nice. It might help me in a way to lead me forward. So if you have, and if you don't want me to reference you, your username or your personal name, that's fine. I won't. Your privacy is 100% yours. So if you say, hey, I want to talk about, I don't know, something silly like why you hate feet, but don't want me to use your name, I'll do that. For those of you that know me well, I'm not a big fan of feet. So, that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope the Oscars are eventful, but eventless tonight. I hope there's some good humor, and I hope it's not too woke and ridiculous. I'm rooting for Austin Butler. I don't even know what the Best Picture categories are, and I didn't see many of the nominees this year. But from what the big categories, the only two that I even have an opinion on, I have a feeling that Brendan Fraser is probably going to win for playing the fat guy, whatever that movie's called. But my favorite male leading actor performance was Austin Butler. I thought Elvis was great, and I thought that he did Elvis great. And my favorite Best Picture, as much as I loved Elvis, I actually think the Best Picture of the year was Maverick. And I don't know if that's nominated or not. But I thought that was just a spectacular sequel after all these years. and they really did a good job. They looped in all the old characters. They you know, brought back so many great memories and nostalgia. And for the younger folks that weren't around when it came out and was part of that, like, you know, that awesomeness and newness, they really kind of revisited. If you had the chance to go see it in the theater, it was just like watching a movie in 1990 when you were so excited and you got there, and like it was just really well done, and it was fun. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was you know, exciting, on the seat of your chair. Nothing too outlandish that seemed like so impossible it couldn't happen. Like it was a lot of fun. So Maverick is my pick for Best Picture. I don't even know if it's nominated. Austin Butler, I hope, wins Best Actor, though I think it'll probably be Brendan Fraser. And I like Brendan Fraser. I'm not knocking him. I just I don't know. I always hate it when the awards go to the sad, sappy, oh, this poor whatever category he fits into or she fits into, and then overcomes whatever. You know, I sometimes I just think a good, fun movie is awesome. So those are my only two real picks. Best Actress, if I had to pick one. And I don't think she's nominated, but Sarah Voigt. No, I'm just kidding. Sarah Voigt was the guest I had on a few months back now, and she was in the Terrifier 2 film, and she's got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We've talked and texted recently, and you know, she's got a cool little career starting to really take off. So kudos to her. My Best Actress award goes to Sarah Voigt. And so that's it. That'll wrap this one up. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the Oscars tonight. Oh, the brackets come out. NCAA March Madness. Tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary that Bar Coastal closed. So this is a kind of a crazy little time right now. The spring weather's knocking on the door. The time just changed. This is exciting, man. It's gonna be a good rest of the 2023. So far, it's been all right. It's gonna get better. So I love you guys. I wish you all the best. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Peace!